we do this a lot. We adjust. We have to adjust all the times because sometimes the things what we think we know don't always work the way we think they're going to work. So we'll definitely adjust if needed and do what we need to do to make sure that it's flowing as smoothly as possible out there.
I'm Cristina Janney with the Hays Post and Eagle Radio, and I'm speaking with Hays USD 49 Superintendent Ron Wilson about bus routes on this episode of the Hays Post podcast.
We kind of anticipate our move out to 2300 on East 13th, what will be our new middle school location starting in January. There are busing rules, I should say, that we have to follow to help us figure out our busing. And so currently we have students who are at the current middle school who are eligible for bus service because they live more than 2.5 miles from their attendance center. Once that location changes to the new location center, eligibility will change for some students. As we talked about at the board meeting last night, it really only affects 23 students that would have had service, bus service, who will not be eligible for bus service. And to kind of work through this, I've tried to just share with the board that although this sounds kind of like, oh wow, that's not fair and that's not right, this is something that we do every year. When an elementary student who moves to the middle school, sometimes they become not eligible for bus service because of the location of where they live. Same thing happens when they're middle school students and they move to the high school. They sometimes become not eligible. And of course, the easy answer is, well, let them ride. But the problem is we will have many more students who are now going to be eligible to ride. And not saying that everyone is going to ride. We just have to not overcrowd our buses. And so, like I said, this is something that happens every year. And we're just trying to, get the word out. The middle school has sent parents letters at the beginning of the year. They've sent it out on social media. They have talked at site council meetings about this. I've done numerous things just to get the word out. And we're not really trying to make this a big deal in terms of, making sure that we want every kid to be able to get to school, but at the same time, we have to look at our busing system and what space we have available.
So if you think your child is going to be eligible to ride the bus to the new middle school location, what should that parent do?
Well, of course, the first thing is to call probably Russ Henningsen at the transportation office, and he can explain to you where you're living and where the attendance center and the distance that you're. I would say that you probably have already been notified. So I think all of our parents who have this affected have been notified. So if you haven't heard anything, I don't think there's anything to really probably worry about.
So is there a greater concern about the busing system in general? Because Russ said last night that there's about 200 eligible students to ride to the current middle school, and about half of them are riding. But under the new location, there'll be about 300 students eligible. But are there going to be enough buses, even if half of those students ride?
Well, yeah, if and that's the issue that we don't know. We kind of follow the same protocol in that we look at yearly as we look at busing as a whole and what kids and parents usually tend to do. A lot of parents do bring their kids to the middle school, even though they are eligible for bus service. So we of course, if all of those rode or half of those rode, we would probably be in a little bit of a serious hurt, and we're going to have to figure some things out. But we'll work through that. Of course, we did talk about the issue of we don't have bus drivers. I mean, we're always advertising for bus drivers, and right now we don't have any in the hopper that will serve as additional bus drivers, and we have an advertisement out there currently. So I guess I would use this opportunity if you're looking for a new career or maybe a second career or third career. We would definitely entertain the idea of having you come work for the district as a bus driver, because we do need bus drivers.
What qualifications do you have to apply for as a bus driver?
Well, of course, it's a CDL license, and then there's some safety classes that you have to go through, and some just basic driving skills that you would go through to qualify. It does take a little bit of time, but the good thing is Russ Henningsen, our transportation director, will work directly with you, and he'll assist you and support you to get you through anything that you need to do.
I don't know if that maybe something that might ease that transportation is that the high school and the middle school will be located there together. And if a parent is dropping off a high school student and a middle school student, that might help traffic, or an older sibling might be able to drive a younger sibling. I know that happened when I was in high school. I had a younger sibling that rode with me.
I would anticipate we'll probably see maybe a little more of that where siblings or older siblings are taking, just because of the simplicity of the location of being able to drop off a sibling and then drive just, around the corner and go to the high school. So I think this issue will work itself out. We're not really overly concerned. It's not the reason we talked about it at the board meeting. It was just a discussion so everyone was aware that this is kind of a little kink, something we do every year, but it just is going to happen in the middle of the year.
And I think everybody is still concerned about traffic flow out there. How is that situation going out there, getting students in and out of the new high school building and traffic on 13th?
Well, I don't think we're really going to know until we actually see it live.
With the middle school.
Yeah, with the
traffic.
Middle school. Yeah, starting in January. Middle school will be starting earlier than the high school, 10 minutes. So we feel like most of the middle school will be kind of in a sense of the drop off. We'll have those kids dropped off a little earlier and should be moved out before the heavy glut of high school traffic starts coming. Pickup time would be very similar. Middle school will let out 10 minutes earlier than the high school. We'll try to get our middle school, and we really feel like we'll be able to move most of our kids out in 10 minutes or close to that. So we just feel like we have a plan, and of course, as we're famously, I guess, we do this a lot. We adjust. We have to adjust all the times because sometimes the things what we think we know don't always work the way we think they're going to work. So we'll definitely adjust if needed and do what we need to do to make sure that it's flowing as smoothly as possible out there.
Well, we can jump on to another issue that was talked about last night, which was some change orders. And one of those change orders was paying for some extra striping on the parking lots to help direct flow. So that was one thing the district did. It was about $88,000 in traffic flows. There was some concession receptacles, some concrete. There were some gates added to the fence of the football stadium, some adjustments that needed to be done to the scoreboard, a clarification in the architect's instructions, and then, like I said, the directions for the traffic flow. But does that still keep the project within budget, within the contingency amount?
Yeah, we're still we have about $100,000 remaining in contingency, and I would say we are pretty close to having the entire project pretty much buttoned up as far as any additional things that we look at. All the things that you mentioned are things that just anytime if you've ever built anything, as you look at it and you're finished with it, you go, oh, I don't know if we probably should have thought about this when we were putting this all together. So, like you said, the concession stand, we needed more popcorn poppers, and when you started plugging in multiple popcorn poppers, we were blowing breakers. So we had to put in some different receptacles to alleviate that. Some fencing the gates. So we it was a little bit of a deal where we have a great fence around the stadium that controls. Keeps people off the track and off the field, or us being able to control that. We just didn't have gates to close the fence. So things like that, it's what it pops up to. And I think that's the important thing is the contingency was there because we knew there would be these things. Anytime you have a project, there's always things that pop up, and that's why the contingency was there. That was within the whole plan for the high school, and so we still have $100,000 remaining, and I would doubt that we use very much of that, as we have pretty close to having everything we need.
And any leftover contingency, this rolls over into the rest of the projects.
Exactly, and that's what we're excited about, being able to put it towards future projects for the other remaining buildings.
So the last item here we were going to talk about was there was a contract for some asbestos removal in the former high school, which is to be the middle school. And as I understand it, this was glue that was underneath some tile. And as long it was as it was undisturbed underneath the tile, it wasn't an issue, but that tile is now going to be removed, and it had to be taken out, all that asbestos remediated, because the tile was being replaced.
Yeah, I mean, as we work on the current 23, we're calling it 2300 on East 13th, which will be our new middle school. One of the plans is to put new flooring in all the hallways, and there is tile down there, which the tile is perfectly fine. Does not contain any asbestos, but the glue, which is called mastic, that when it was put down does have asbestos, but it's no danger to anyone, or has never been a danger to anyone, because it was covered up and it's not in the air at all. But as we remove these tiles, we need to scrape that glue off, which requires the abatement. And this is what is called non-friable. Even though we're scraping it up, it still won't become airborne. And so it's the simplest of the asbestos abatements. Friable becomes a whole different quality of removing. So what we are doing is we have $80,000 set aside, because we knew this was always going to be the case. And so we just did some bidding for companies to come in and remove it. And we had a winning bid last night. And so we'll be using those funds to take care of this project, and just had the board approve that last night.
Yeah, that was with ACM removal, and it came in under what was estimated. It was $69,480 instead of the $80,000 that it was estimated. So that came in significantly under what it was supposed to be estimated at. So the district had some savings there by contracting directly with that removal company.
Yes, absolutely.
Ron, is there anything, as we keep getting deeper into the school year, you'd like to highlight?
Yeah, the only thing I would highlight, and this was something that board member Ruth Ruder brought up last night, we've had a couple of events that have just been amazing. We had last week the first ever concert, which was a combined orchestra, band, and the vocal singers of the high school. Looked like 500 kids on the stage, and they produced the very first concert at Hayes High. It was a piece written called Journey Home, written by our high school orchestra director Braden Smith, and it was just an incredible night, and it was fun to be a part of, and just to be able to see the kind of facility that we have available to our kids and our community for these kinds of events. And of course, our first home football game was just magical. Not only we have a great crowd and a lot of people, a lot of enthusiasm and fireworks and everything, but we got the win, so that was fun. So just a lot of feel-good things going on with Hayes USD 489. I'm so fortunate to be a part of all this.